Hi guys, and welcome to a new section we're doing. Look, I love to cook. Food is a passion of mine. If you haven't noticed that from my gut, then I don't know what to tell you. But, I got a lot of people that like my cooking. People ask me how I do it. What do I do? So I've decided I'm going to start sharing some of my favorite recipes. So, first things first. I'm doing some steaks tonight. It's my birthday. One of my favorite things is just to marinate a steak in some real simple stuff. I don't have everything for what I'd always do, but let me tell you, this one I'm going to show you, it's basic, it's simple, it's easy, and most people will have what you need. So, first things first, start with a couple decent steaks. Get them in a gallon bag. From there, you want to add about a cup of soy sauce. If you want to watch your sodium, if you know you got high blood pressure or something, sure, you can go with the low sodium. I don't really ever go with low sodium because whenever you're marinating in salt, you actually break down your meat. It's like a salt brine, but you're doing it with soy sauce, so you're getting that extra little bit of flavor in there. Your next thing is get some garlic. I like to use fresh garlic. I use a fairly good sized piece. If you're using powdered garlic, you can use it. It comes out fine. It's not as good, but at the same time, it's not going to suffer to the point where it's unedible. I mean, I've done it plenty of times. That's why this is one of those easy things to make, because it's not actually that particular. With garlic, it's one of those polarizing ingredients. You got people that love it, you got people that hate it. Sure, there are people in between. So, whereas I went and I picked kind of a large piece of garlic for this, if you don't like it that much but you can stand it, get you a little piece. If you're one of those people that really can't stand garlic, you can leave it out altogether, but if you do, it really loses a certain depth of flavor. Now, me with this little crusher, I always crush twice. I break it up after I did it once and then cut back off, just to make sure I get a good bit in there. Okay, so now we have our soy sauce and our garlic in there. The next thing, now I like stuff to be a little bit spicy. I would usually use cayenne pepper powder. Sometimes I use crushed red pepper. Today I'm using crushed red pepper. And for me personally, I'm using a teaspoon. It's not real hot, and I use a heaping teaspoon if you're wondering. Kayla doesn't like things super hot, so when I cook for both of us, I do dial things back a bit. And that just adds a little bit of spice. It rounds out the flavor some. The next thing I'm going to tell you to add is add somewhere around a 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed. Once again, it just gives you a little bit of flavor. I don't use quite the 1/4 teaspoon, just, roughly. Next thing, add around 2/3 of a cup of water. I find that sometimes if you don't water down your soy sauce, it will overpower. I don't mind the overpowering, but once again, you're not cooking just for yourself most of the time. You're cooking for someone else too. You got to keep them in mind. From here, you're going to want to add in from a cup to 2 cups of Zinfandel. I like Klein Ancient Vine Zinfandel. It adds a good, bold depth of flavor. It's not real sweet, doesn't make your meat sweet, it just adds a good flavor. And once again, the acid in that will help break down the steaks, so even if you have a tougher piece of meat, it will help to make it to, soften up, be good, and, just as tender as you could ever want. You should also make sure to use a half decent one. I mean, we're not talking go out and buy a $50, $60 bottle, but get one that you like the flavor of to drink, not just any one you find. And then we're going to finish this off with about a teaspoon of rosemary. After we get everything put in the bag, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of try to get the air out. And if you roll it, you'll help push that air out. You're kind of almost vacuum sealing it, without actually vacuum sealing. If you have a vacuum sealer, that's even better. Make sure you get that sealed well. I usually roll it back out and just kind of wiggle it around, make sure all the flavors are getting intermingled there. And then roll it up, and I wouldn't let this really set the soy sauce because I didn't water it down that much. It's pretty strong. I usually let this sit anywhere from, say, 3 hours if it's setting out to 8 to 9 hours if it's in the refrigerator. I'm going to leave this one set out because Kayla's at work. It's already partway through the day, and that should let it start working. I also like to make sure that I flip it every couple hours after I've got it started, so that way, like as you see, the juices start to run away from the meat. So, you know, if I come back in a half hour and I just give it a roll over, now the bottom's getting marinated. After that, it's really dealer's choice on how you want to finish it. I like to use a good skillet, cast iron if possible. Get it really hot and then sear those juices in. Flip it over real quick, sear the other side, and then you can lower the temperature down and let it cook nicely. Another option is to sear real quick in a pan and then put it in your oven at, say, 275. You can do that. Some people cover, some people don't. And then just let it go until it gets to the point of doneness that you like. Me, personally, I like, you know, medium rare, somewhere in there. Kayla likes hers done a little more. But once you've got this taken care of, the cooking part's the easy part. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video.